we're not looking at why or like the fact that people are left wing when they're younger or whatever. What we're talking about is the demonstrable violence that goes on when a conservative like Cam Higby recently went out to a college campus and he was assaulted and he was spat on. People they chased him out of there for wearing a MAGA hat and having conservative ideas. The Tesla dealerships were burned. All these conservatives who are going to Portland at the moment are being assaulted. Please tell me where this is happening on the right. I really would love to know.
I mean, the right are like shooting up mosques and churches and stabbing. They're murdering black people.
The right are shooting up mosques and churches. Where is this happening?
Tree of Life shooting. If I'm remembering, the Gladius was in New York. Specifically, it was done, I think around 59th Street. Though it might have been, never. But basically, a white nationalist came in, murdered an old black man with a Gladius because he was black for no other reason than that. As I said, most of the murders are race-based, and that's on both the right and the left.
So why? How's that political violence?
You murdered a guy because you don't like black people and you don't want them to have rights. That's political violence.
Where did he express that?
Well, literally to the police, like after he was caught. He specifically said, "I did this because I'm a white nationalist." Right. So yeah.
So all the black people who are killing. So you'd say Irina Zhurutska, that was obviously a political violence. An example.
I'm not familiar with that person or that.
Irina Zhurutska was the Ukrainian girl who was killed on the train recently, and he said, "I got that white girl."
I mean, that guy. If you want to say
here
that,
we go. Of course, when the shoe's on the other foot, it's never counted.
No,
and this is why
again,
the left wing, you guys are just so dishonest about this, and it just comes out like that. It's almost just too easy to draw it out of you. You've said that one person is a race-based political violence, and then the other person is not. Irina, that wasn't political, obviously.
The person who killed
Give me a break,
the Ukrainian woman. I was actually going to say you might consider that race-based.
Oh, you might.
Violence.
You might. He said, "I got that white girl."
Well, yes, you might consider that. Again, if you look at the study that I sent you, it specifically has both the fact that like the reasons for committing the crime, but also the level of ideology involved in it. And from what I can tell in the story of that guy, he wasn't part of any particular anti-white organizations. He wasn't a black nationalist. He was a guy that society failed at every point, and then it eventually,
he's a victim.
I mean, in a way, everyone's a victim all the time.
He's like the hungry people who are stealing just because they're hungry.
I would say he's batshit insane, and he killed somebody.
Oh yeah, and the white guy who walked into the place and shot the black guy, he was just fine upstairs. He was just your full chips and dip, wasn't he?
So when, for instance, when the Nazi went into New York and murdered the black man with a Gladius, he was behaving logically from his perspective. It's still wrong. It's still evil. He's working on the wrong assumptions there. But there is a level of sanity that you would not find in a random homeless person who just stabbed the person in front of them for absolutely no reason and then said, "Well, I got her because she's white." Now, as I said, you can actually classify that under the framework that I have, and it would count. But it would also probably fit into the less ideologically motivated things, because I think the major thing with regard to that guy was that he was just literally insane, and his mother had to like have him kicked out of her house because like he became violent with her. So obviously that guy's
I get your point, but I just want the audience to know this right now. Okay, what we are dealing with right now is the typical obfuscation of the left and how they contrive narratives. And he knows it. I know it. You guys all know it listening to this. They're not going, they're going, I'll let you speak and you'll be silent.
All right, fair enough.
You'll be silent while I speak. All right. So the left-wing violence, they're not going to count people like Irina Zhurutska. They will happily, any white person who basically commits a crime, they're going to call this political violence. But then with Irina Zhurutska, I don't know, society really hurt this guy and he really fell off the rails and we should have helped him more. But the white guy, nothing like that. They're also not going to count all of the violence that was done by BLM, for example, and the murders and the deaths that happen during left-wing riots and all of these different deaths that happen. This is how the left contrives narratives. And if you go into these studies that he's talking about, and if you look who funds these studies, oftentimes what do you get? You get the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you get the Rockefeller brothers, you get all of these different sources of funding, and these people who are moderates, or at least they pose themselves as moderates, are really just left-wing activists. And it's the same with the DAs around everywhere. And what he is espousing right now is this exact same left-wing ideology, where they will try and dishonestly contrive a narrative to make the right look worse, when everybody can see it. We know we're being gaslit by people like Brenton. We know it. We can see it with our own two eyes, and the data crumbles just like that.